Welcome, Forts fans, to the first in a series of battle replays. I'm here with Tim Auld, co-founder of EarthWork Games and programmer on Forts.
Hello there.
Also Lee May of Z Games.
Hey, hey.
And Ray Morgan, also of Z Games.
Hello.
And I am Nick Smith, co-founder of EarthWork Games and artist.
Alright, so we're at the beginning of the game here, and this is me expanding my resource collection at the moment. It's really important to boost your metal production right at the beginning, otherwise you'll fall behind. I actually sold a door there because it's worth quite a bit of metal, and that allows me to build another mine pretty quickly.
Yeah, as with a lot of RTS games, the initial stages are critical to how the game is going to play out eventually. So any time lost here or mistakes made can have a critical effect on your tech tree development.
Yep.
Can you tell us how this building actually works? Because it looks like you've got Is there a physics faction going on here? What is happening?
Yeah, well, you're building up your fort a bit like a sort of matchstick creation, if you like, and there's gravity and there's inertia, so your fort will sag under the weight, and if it's not strong enough, it'll actually collapse.
Oh yeah, it's actually wobbling there under the pressure right now.
Yep. So all the things that you put on the fort have a weight as well. So, you know, you can put that last little straw on the camel's back and it comes crashing down. So right at the beginning, you need to think a little bit about how you're going to structure your fort. But not too much. I mean, it's a little bit kind of improvisation as well.
Yeah, I mean, initially you might think, well, why don't you just armour the entire thing? It's obviously the most protected way you're going to go about your fort, but like Tim was saying, you do that, it's going to weigh a ton, and it'll just fall in on itself.
So I see you've put some armor up against that big glowing orb in the middle. I'm guessing that's an important part of the fort?
Yeah, that's the reactor. It's basically the thing that powers your fort, at least initially, and it's got a nuclear reactor inside of it, so if that takes a critical hit, that will explode and make a big hole in your fort. It's basically game over at that point.
That is the heart of your fort, and unlike everything else, it can't be repaired, so as it depletes, you'll get warnings going off, and you've got a gauge on the HUD to show how much energy it's got left.
Yeah.
So protecting that's pretty important.
I just built a workshop there, so that unlocks a couple of weapons. And I built a sniper at the top, and I'm just starting to make my little machine gun nests here.
What's the purpose of these machine gun nests, Tim?
Well, we get bombarded with mortars, airborne projectiles, so you can actually shoot them out of the air as they're incoming. It saves you repairing quite a lot of damage.
So are the guns automated?
No, you have to control each one individually. So it's a little bit, spinning plates, but it's it's good fun.
Yeah, I mean, one of the key elements in the game is sort of time management as well. So you can start peppering people just to put them off their game, so they have to defend themselves with machine guns. It takes them off.
Looks like some peppering is happening right now to your fort, Nick.
Yes, he's trying to deplete my one and only turbine at the moment, and he's doing a pretty bloody good job of it. So I just stuck a sandbag in there, which is basically does what sandbags do and absorbs just bullets and any old damage, and it acts as a bit of a buffer. And a key thing about the sandbags here is with the turbines, they have to be exposed to the elements in order to generate as much energy as possible. But sandbag does not block line of sight, so you can help protect it without reducing its efficiency.
Yeah. So I've just built a missile swarm there, so they go on the ground unlike all the other weapons. And
also he's built a guy rope as well,
to
basically help support his fort, make sure it doesn't topple forwards. Usually forts are built all the weapons on one side of it, and if you don't sort of support it on the other side or balance it out, you might end up sort of toppling itself. So we got a bit of exchange of fire going on here at the moment.
What's going on there with the doors, Nick?
So we've got these doors in there, which basically if you try and fire through them, they'll open automatically. Obviously, having a door open means you can shoot as much as you want, but as you can see just then, it also leaves you exposed to enemy fire as well. And we've got big black and yellow chevrons on there, so that when you zoomed out, it's easy to tell when a door's open and closed.
Probably should have closed that one.
Well, I was on a bit of a pop there, so you kind of try and ride your luck a bit. But against Tim, he's a bit of a crack shot, so it might not have been the best policy.
It is a big door, though, Nick.
He's a gaper.
You can make them smaller, and this is one of the creative things you can do with the game. You don't have to be locked into this kind of box shape that we're using at the moment. You can spend as much time as you like adjusting the position of your struts.
Ooh, something.
So,
Bit of harassment there.
yeah, a bit of harassment. Tim's shooting.
That looks a bit dramatic.
Had his doors open for his machine guns, which is a new building style that Tim's invented lately.
Oh, it's not new.
New for me. I'm usually, I'm behind on these tactics. But taking a look at my fort, you can see that I've built a factory, which is next level up from the workshop. Tim has just aimed and launched a swarm missile, and I do have a machine gun to defend myself. So that was...
You knocked out a few of them, but you lost a turbine there.
Yeah, and then Tim, as usual, doesn't waste any time nobbling my carefully placed machine gun. So at this stage, I'm going to have to rebuild my resource collection a bit with that turbine having been destroyed. Turbines generate energy, which is the main resource used for firing weapons, especially the bigger weapons are really energy hungry. So you really need to have basically a wind farm going.
Yeah. So you notice there that the missile requires a sniper to fire. So it's a vulnerability of the missile. If you don't have a sniper, you can't fire it.
So that basically sort of is a balance. Yeah, as you say, it's sort of like a balancing thing, because the missile silos obviously can be protected behind the fort, and having a sniper as a vulnerability sort of mitigates that to some degree.
Yeah.
So, is it possible to repair your base once it's been damaged?
Yep. So any hit that you take, you can just hit the R key that repairs around the cursor. It'll put out fires and repair to 100% health, anything that's under the cursor. But of course that takes resources, so you can find yourself unable to do other things if you are repairing too much.
Yeah, I mean, if your fort is looking like a piece of Swiss cheese and you repair everything, you will find yourself out of cash pretty soon.
Yeah.
Really, you will be on the back foot then.
I guess it's also a distraction as well. Like when you're repairing something, you're not manning the guns.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, having an area effect is a lot more useful. We used to have it basically where the pointer was, you'd repair that piece, and the area effect meant it a lot more balanced. Here you can see I've just almost completed building of a laser, which is rather good fun.
Don't shoot that, Nick.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
But it's hungry. So
Oh, wow.
bit of a
no.
creak going on Tim's fort.
It's a good thing you had that rope there.
Yeah,
That's
that
what's
probably
holding it together
saved
right
me
now.
there. So the resource storage isn't unlimited. You have to buy things that increase your storage. That's the battery and the metal store. So to save up energy to shoot the laser, it's good to have quite a few batteries, but you also need the turbines to recharge the batteries. So if you have a laser, it uses a lot of power, but having those turbines exposed makes it vulnerable. So I'm building a few sandbags at the front of the fort. That's to block major weapons fire.
Opens the door.
Oh,
Laser.
Oh no! Another humanity.
Tim's economy is going down the tubes.
It just knocked the top off my fort.
How will you recover from that?
I guess we'll find out about that in part 2 of the video. Come back to see part 2 of the fort's battle replay.